Rey Mysterio is still waiting to enter the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble. He can join the likes of Curtis Axel in that regard, and hopefully we'll see you soon, Rey. Better luck next time. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Ewan McQuaid, and today we are talking about the 2023 Royal Rumble, the most exciting time of the year if you are a wrestling fan. But before we dive into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment down below your thoughts on the Royal Rumble and let me know. I'll try to apply to every single one of them. But let's get into the show. This is my review. I'm going to go through the show, go through the matches, go through the angles, what I thought, you know, like a review does, that kind of thing. So we're starting off the Royal Rumble with a video package with Hardy. I don't know who Hardy is. Apparently he's a country music star. I don't mind my country music. I like a bit of Florida Georgia Line, a little bit of Casey Musgraves, a little bit of Kelsey Ballerini, and I don't know who he is, I'm afraid. So I don't know why he was there. But it was a cool video package. Pretty cool video package. And then the show opens up and we get the first return of the night. Pat McAfee comes down to do commentary, and I didn't realise, I'm not a massive fan of Pat McAfee's commentary, but I have missed him a little bit, just a little bit, and he really felt, you know, it felt good to have him back on commentary throughout the show. It was really good. And then, to my surprise, and potentially everyone's surprise, the Men's Royal Rumble opened the show, which I think, looking back in hindsight, is a stroke of genius. Because if you'd have had the men's match come after the Roman Kevin Owens match, you would have thought Sammy's showing up in this Rumble. But instead, having it open the show, not a single ounce of bloodline related stuff anywhere. There was no Usos in the match, there was no Solo Sikoa in the match, there was no Sammy in the match, there was no KO in the match. Really gave it a unique sort of bubble-like feel, and that worked really, really well, because the worry going into this Rumble was that Cody was going to get booed if he won because he's not Sami Zayn. But having that straight away and then having Sammy's moment at the end, stroke of genius, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. And yeah, this was a really entertaining Rumble match. I'm not going to go through everything that happened, every entrant, because I haven't got my glasses on. I can't fully see my notes from here, but I'm going to go through some of the key moments of this Rumble and what made it really stand out. So the first thing that I felt, particularly in the last act of this, was that this Rumble felt classic. You know, whether it's just the positioning of Gunther at the end versus American Nightmare Cody, which really sort of gave like Hulk Hogan versus the big foreign giant feel at the end, but it just felt really vibrant and colourful. I don't know if I'm being a bit weird there, but it just felt like brighter, and the personalities of each wrestler really shone throughout this Rumble, starting with Gunther and Sheamus, because my God, they put in an epic performance, particularly Gunther, this was just absolute, like, Clash at the Castle was a star-making performance for Gunther. This has cemented him as one of the top guys in the company, because this performance in this Rumble, from number 1 all the way to number 30, was flawless. It was absolutely flawless. He got great eliminations. He had great stare-down moments, great clashes with people. The Brock Lesnar stare-down, that was a bit tasty. And just furthered the story with Sheamus as well, that these two are destined to just battle for eternity. And I think that should be the Mania program, should be Sheamus versus Gunther. Run it back at WrestleMania, because that would be incredible. You've got Sheamus pairing up with Drew, which I thought was awesome, and those two working together and not doing the stupid thing of, we're going to fight each other, we're partners and we're going to fight each other, like the New Day teased. But that worked insanely well. My only gripe with this Rumble is I thought from like entrant number, try and think of what number it was, sort of like post Brock, there was a little bit of a lull where you were waiting for things to happen, waiting for big return, and you got people like a fair few mid-carders, no offence to them, you got like Montez Ford, you got Otis, and those sorts of guys running in, and that sort of just dipped it a little bit, dipped the pace, but the ending few sequences of this were just off the chain good. And we have to shout out Logan Paul. You know, say what you will about that man, but my God, he has, honestly, him and Ricochet have made a clip that is going to go down, you know, in the history books. It's going to be in the video package, the opening video packages to Raw and stuff like that. They're then now forever together stuff. It was that good. And that was a double springboard clothesline into each other. The way it was shot, the way it was executed, picture perfect, and was my personal favourite spot of the evening. And then you got into the final stretch, you got the Cody and Seth story, which was the most juicy bit. You know, the Brock was really fun and funny. The fact that you probably got paid an insane amount of money to come in and be in there for about 2 minutes and then get chucked out by Bobby Lashley. That was funny. That was really funny. But the Seth and Cody stuff, just Cody coming out and seeing Cody was just, made me so happy that he's back. Made me so happy that he was back. I don't know why you put him at number 30, considering everyone knows he's coming back. I don't know why you announced it if that was going to be the case, because it seemed a bit weird that to put him at number 30 considering he'd been announced. But hey ho, it is what it is. Him and Seth, you know, battling, doing each other's moves, and then sort of teaming together was hellaciously good. And I really enjoyed everything that came from that. I loved Logan Paul eliminating Seth. I think that's great because you've still got like the Seth Cody feud you can go back to if you want to, because I would have thought Cody eliminating Seth would have put a bow on this feud, but they've still got a lot left in the tank for that. Maybe even a tag run after some of the stuff that we saw in this one. But then it came down to Gunther and Cody. Cody, who'd been in at number 30, and Gunther, who'd entered at number 1. And these two just had a cracking match at the end of this. They didn't really have like a tussle. It wasn't a quick throw out. They just had an incredible match with a bit that nearly got me, and that was when Gunther put his foot on the chin of Cody on the rope and pushed him down. I genuinely thought he might hit the floor there, but no, it was after a really awesome sequence of moves. Cody eliminates Gunther, and Cody's going to WrestleMania. We all thought it'd be Cody. The video package had been hyping up it's going to be Cody, and it was. And I think separating this from the Bloodline stuff gave Cody his moment. He didn't get booed. The crowd were into Cody, and that is perfect. That's perfect. And I personally cannot wait for Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be flawless storytelling. The Rhodes family versus the Iwari family. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. And I think this is, following last year's in particular, this Rumble was a huge step up from last year. So big thumbs up from me. Okay. Snap back to reality. Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight in a Mountain Dew pitch black match. I don't think it was what any of us were expecting. I wasn't. Anyway, maybe I'm silly. But a UV match that kind of looked like a British student union sesh. Just, oh my God, it looked obscene. And it looked visually cool. Okay, the makeup that Bray had on was flawless, and he looked sick, especially that shot at the end with him with his tongue out and everything like that. Looked great. But my God, did this not work in the slightest. The match itself was quick, very quick, and I can't get over. So the brawl after the match, Bray wins with his sister Abigail, pins LA Knight. They brawl into the crowd and into like the area where they've got the sets and stuff like that. And Uncle Howdy stands up on one of the really tall like ledges, and you can see it's his silhouette, and LA Knight's laying down on the floor, and he just Uncle Howdy just yeets himself off this platform, misses LA Knight completely. Like, the camera manages to show that he was miles away from actually hitting LA Knight with whatever it was. It looked like an elbow drop / coffin drop. And the whole thing explodes. Bray's standing there with a new mask on, and then you see like the human embodiments of the puppets on that platform. This was bad. It wasn't Zombies level of bad, where that was actively terrible, and I would never go back and watch this again. This was like so bad it's good, because never in a million years did I expect them to do a UV match. I never expected the pitch black match to be a UV match. And the dive that Uncle Howdy took was hilarious. So, yeah. This was terribly funny. And I can't wait to see where it goes next. Next up, we got Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. This match was fine. It was totally fine. I can't give you anything like blow away about this that happened. They all hit their signature moves. There was a few counters. There wasn't anything particularly memorable about this. And Bianca Belair hit the KOD for the win. And yeah, she dealt with it pretty easily. Dealt with Alexa Bliss like that. So I don't know where this is going to go from here. I think the feud's over. I think we're going to be now building Bianca for Rhea Ripley, which I think would be great, really good at WrestleMania. But what happened after is we got spooky images projected on the screen that Alexa Bliss was seeing with Uncle Howdy in there. I'm not into this in particular. I don't like Bliss being affiliated with Bray. I didn't like it with The Fiend. I don't particularly like it here. But it is what it is. We're getting this. Maybe run it at WrestleMania. Maybe you can do Spooky Bliss versus Babyface Charlotte. Maybe you could do Bliss Charlotte at Mania, but I don't know. Spooky Bliss in for me, and the match itself was okay at best. Then we got the Women's Royal Rumble match, which was this had glimmers, should I say, of awesomeness, like absolute fire moments. But I think overall this suffered from having an incredible ending, an okay beginning, and a very sort of messy middle, in my opinion, with sprinkles of greatness there that we'll talk about in a minute. But Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan were number 1 and number 2. Fantastic, great choices to do that. I wasn't expecting Rhea Ripley to be number 1. As soon as she came out, I was like, oh no, Rhea's gonna lose, which my mind automatically went to they're gonna have Naomi coming back and winning this, because I couldn't think of anyone else who's gonna win other than Rhea Ripley. But no, Rhea Ripley lasted throughout this, and this is probably the one that we got the most surprise entrance in as well. We got Asuka coming in with her new makeup, her new gimmick, which looks sick. She looks awesome. We got Chelsea Green. Poor Chelsea Green. I don't know what she's done to deserve this, but she lasted 5 seconds and was chucked out. We got Zoe Stark coming in, having a great show. But I think the best, Roxanne Perez looked incredible in this match. She looked like the best out of everyone who came in. The Hurricane Rana she hit, the kip up. She looked like a star. She was presented as a star. She just didn't last very long. She didn't feel like she lasted very long. She lasted about 10 minutes or something like that. So I was a little bit underwhelmed by how long she was in there for, but she looked great. She looked absolutely fantastic. And the big return that we had was botched. It was botched. I can't believe this. I was like, oh, this is an interesting angle, because the timer in the corner of the screen hadn't started yet. The countdown hadn't started yet. And then Nia Jax's music hit. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? And then the counter came on for a little bit. They ditched the counter, and Nia Jax just came down. And Nia Jax was the surprise entrant, the number 30 surprise entrant. whether I'm happy about that coming back. And there was a bit on commentary that was like, oh my God, Michael Cole, I don't know how you can actually say that with like a straight face. He said that she changed the course of women's wrestling when she punched Becky Lynch in the face, which she did, but also she didn't mean to, unless she did, in which case that's even worse. So that was weird. There were some weird moments on commentary here. Corey Graves, I think it was Liv Morgan, who jumped someone while they were trying to eliminate someone, and he was like, why are you doing that? It really pisses me off that you do this during a Royal Rumble match. I don't get why people do it. And I'm like, thank you for pointing out the logic, but at the same time, you kind of taking me out of it. But no, it was fun. It was a fun Rumble match. It had a few surprises, a few neat moments, but the ending sequence with Asuka, Rhea, and Liv Morgan was outstanding, and I think better than the men's. Absolutely better than the men's. This ending sequence between these three was better than the Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, Gunther, Cody stuff, because it just went into this really awesome bit where all three were on the apron. Asuka goes to miss Rhea. Rhea ducks. She misses Liv. Rhea kicks the leg of Asuka out. Asuka's eliminated. And then you think Liv Morgan's going to get the upper hand because she hits this code breaker. And then Rhea's holding on for dear life. Thought she was going to slip and get eliminated. Then she Hurricane Rana's Liv. Sorry about that. Liv from the apron to the floor. Flawless ending. I absolutely loved this. But the one gripe, the big gripe that I really had with both, not necessarily both Royal Rumbles, but just the agenting of them, is that in the men's Royal Rumble, you had the Judgment Day all working together. You had Dom, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor all working together until Edge came out and then basically killed them all. In the women's Royal Rumble, you had Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai working together with Damage Control, and for Becky Lynch to come out, and for basically the same thing to happen. It was literally nearly the same thing, basically. And it just didn't sit right with me. I would have felt if the women's had gone on first, I would have said that about the men's. If the men's went on first, I'd say it about the women's. Bad agenting there, because it was literally the same thing, but that's little nitpick there. This was a fun rumble. And what I will say about this is, for 4.5 hours, this show blew along. I didn't think it lagged at any point in particular that really made me feel, oh my God, this is going on too long. There were just moments where I was like, you could have trimmed that, or the messiness of it took me out of it. I just thought it was really well laid out, this night of wrestling, and overall, props to Triple H for doing that. Okay, main event time. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. Overall, I thought this match was good. I didn't think the match was anything like mind-blowing like the Logan Paul match was, or even Drew and Roman at Clash at the Castle. I thought this was good. It was the ending sequence that was just, oh my God, you've done this really well. And that is, it picked up. So obviously you got the brunt of the match, finishes, kickouts, stuff like that. A typical Roman Reigns match with a few chin locks in there as well. But the ending is when Roman grabs KO and slams his head into the steps, as in that way, like that. And Sammy's face throughout this is incredible, because he is torn, he is conflicted, he does not want to see his friend undergo this punishment, and he just does it twice, nails Kevin Owens' head into these steps, and then I believe he hits the spear and pins KO. Brutal stuff. And Sammy throughout this is selling the confliction just so well. Like, you can tell from the look on his face, he has been thinking about turning on Roman Reigns since the beginning of the night. Like, this isn't I've seen KO do this. He's been thinking about it for a long time. And then we get the post-match angle, which is Roman just destroys KO. The Usos come down, they destroy KO. KO gets, Solo Sikoa does his running hip attack into a chair onto KO's face in the corner, and then they have him handcuffed to the ropes. Can barely stand. Relentless super kicks from the Usos. It is brutal. It is literally like something from like a mafia film, like The Godfather or something like that, where they're just beating this guy down to try and break one of their own. And then Roman goes to destroy KO with a chair. Goes for a full unprotected chair shot to the head. And Sami steps in the way. He gets in the way, pleads with Roman Reigns not to do this. He's done enough. He's the tribal chief. He doesn't need to sink to these levels. And then Roman extends his hand, gives Sami the chair, and tells Sami to do it. At this point, I was on the edge of my seat watching this. And Sami goes, he's behind Roman, and you can see him, he's got the chair cocked. It's almost like the Hangman Page teasing the buckshot at Revolution. You can see he's going to hit someone with the chair. He's teasing hitting it on Roman. And then he does. And the crowd erupt as he just clocks Roman with this chair. He's taking his shot at the boss. He turns around to the Usos, throws the chair down, says he's sorry, and then Jimmy Uso destroys Sami Zayn while Jay watches on in the corner. Roman Reigns brings himself to his feet, and then he joins in, and they destroy Sami Zayn as Jay watches on. And Jimmy pleads with Jay. It's so good. It's so good to get involved. Sami isn't his brother, and Jay leaves. He leaves Solo, Paul Heyman, Jimmy, and Roman in the ring as they just destroy Sami Zayn and then drop the petals on his lifeless body as the show goes off the air. What an incredible, all-time great angle that will live forever. The imagery of it is just beautiful. It was a phenomenal angle. I think Sami turning on Roman is better than Roman turning on Sami, because you knew that was sort of coming. But Sami thinks, you know what? I've got this one shot. They're going to do it anyway. I'm going to, kill you before you kill me. And I love that mentality from Sami in this story. I think it's just phenomenal. Absolutely awesome stuff. I don't think we're now going to get Sami at Mania versus Roman. I think Elimination Chamber, you might get Sami Roman. But Sami Roman's the match to do. You've got Cody, but you've also got Sami. You've got two people who you could have try and rip that belt from Roman. And this was an all-time great angle. All-time great way to end the show. And that's it. That is the end of the Royal Rumble. I think it was predictable, but in a good way. Like, it being predictable didn't take away from the fact that these were really fun matches, and the angle at the end was phenomenal. A little bit of filler in the middle, but you got to space out those Rumbles with something, so have a spooky UV match if you have to. So yeah, overall, I would give this Royal Rumble 4 out of 5 stars. I think it is leaps and bounds above last year's, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know. Hit subscribe, as we are now officially on the road to WrestleMania. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.